If you ever find yourself swimming with the fishes, you'd better hope they're not piranhas. The bite force of a black piranha is incredibly powerful. It's 3 times as strong as an American alligator and 30 times stronger than its own weight. Point being, no dentist would want to work on these chompers. This video shows just how effective a piranha bite can be. Published in May of 2011, this bite test was administered in Ecuador. Holding a piranha in one hand and a stick in the other, the man brings the stick near the piranha's mouth and the fish easily and instantly snips like a pair of scissors. There's no question about it. If given a chance, the seemingly innocent fish will take more than a bite out of you. It may take a limb. A dark alley gets even creepier when a mysterious figure peeks in from nowhere. At 6 seconds, it straightens up and briefly assumes a human form before losing its shape and abruptly flying away. A ghost sighting has been caught on tape if this security video is to be believed. If not, then it looks like an insect landed on the lens to create this effect and then flew away. Described by Redditor Yeezus_C as footage of something. I'm going to play you this video so you can see what that something is. Pulled from security footage, an office chair is captured spinning on its own, and toward the end of the clip, it makes a final turn. Those in the comments have several theories. Well, I think it could be any one of these theories. I wouldn't rule out a passed away office worker with an axe to grind. I can picture a horror movie about it already. These campers aren't going to get any more sleep tonight. Posted to TikTok by Eagle Trindade. One camper opens their tent flap to reveal 4 enormous crocodiles waiting just outside their door. And that's not even the scariest part. At least a dozen pairs of eyes are gleaming in the darkness. The man closes the tent flap as if that weak nylon and polyester is going to save him from this army of chompers. While some in the comments are saying this is more terrifying than a horror movie, others are just wondering how these guys made it out of their tent. Are these crocodiles just trying to get warm? Or are they out for a midnight snack?
Ah, meu Deus do céu! Vocês estão entendendo o quanto de jacaré tem aqui? Eu estou na barraca, literalmente, para acampar. Vamos dormir aqui igual? Eu vou.
This one looks straight out of a horror movie. Posted by Wet Tent YT to the Chills Narrator subreddit and originally published to YouTube in September of 2020. This is an urban exploring adventure turned into a nightmare. The uploader explains that this is a follow-up to a recent video he posted. He came across several tunnels after leaving an abandoned garage, and in these tunnels he encountered a figure he'd seen at the last location. These videos were filmed within hours of each other and showcase a strange person or figure that followed me while exploring. If you looked closely, it seemed to have an axe, and its eyes also looked like they were sort of glowing. In the video, after wandering down a tunnel, the uploader hears something. He sets his camera down on the ground in the tunnel facing the exit. That's when the aforementioned figure is captured, pounding on the roof of the tunnel with what appears to be an axe. Meanwhile, the uploader races down the adjacent tunnel, and when the Axeman leaves, retrieves his camera from the ground and races back towards where the Axeman exited, shouting, "Who are you?" No response. He should probably be grateful about that. Fear Hides Here. Published to YouTube in July of 2021, this investigative team encountered something sinister. While investigating in broad daylight, the crew only just enters the creepy abandoned house when a scary loud racket is heard.
Mau cheiro insuportável.
Pelo amor de Deus. Mas nem chegamos aqui, o que foi isso?
Something is thrown against the wall in another room and sounds like it breaks apart. In one room, the investigators break out an EMF sensor, which starts beeping dramatically when it's held up toward one part of the ceiling.
Cara, será que dá pra olhar aqui em cima, aqui, ó? Bom, parei.
One of the crew boosts another up to the crawl space in the ceiling to see what's triggering the device. It looks like the crawl space was being lived in at one point, as a pair of shoes and a book or pamphlet is up there amongst the soot and garbage. As they realize the book is a diary, banging is heard in the next room. Something is opening and closing the door.
Tá cheio de nome, mano.
Caramba, cara.
Foi isso, cara?
Não sei, foi só pegar isso aqui, ó.
Olha aqui a porta, cara. Olha a porta.
Nossa, velho. Que isso, mano?
It looks like the hidden figure doesn't want that diary to be read. The cameraman checks outside, but there's nothing. A short while later, another bang is heard, and that's when the diary spontaneously combusts. Cameraman is holding the diary when a corner of the paper catches fire. He throws it to the ground in surprise.
Pô, vamos ficar esperto, porque aqui é eternite, mano. Se falar alguma coisa.
Olha lá, ali, ó, tá caindo ali, ó. Ei, ô, o negócio.
Oxi, velho. Pegou fogo do nada?
When he picks it back up, a glass breaks in the next room.
Nossa, cara.
Cara, o negócio começou a pegar fogo aqui do nada.
Chega atrás, eu vou saber.
Tem uns símbolos aqui, ó.
Ali, ó.
O que tá escrito aí em volta desse símbolo?
Porra,
velho.
Causing him to throw it down again. When they gain the courage to pick it up again, another bang is heard, although its source remains unseen.
Tinha um Lúcio Te Adoro por aqui. Vamos ver.
Caramba, cara.
Oi, que puta que
Nossa,
pariu.
mano. As abelhas.
Nossa, será que esse...
Nossa, mano.
They enter another room, clearly afraid of what's going on around them and the entity that they've made angry.
Será que esse...
Sai da porta, espera se esconder um pouco, velho.
Que jeito, cara? Aqui, o negócio tá caindo aqui, velho. Aqui, ó.
Aqui é laje, vem aqui, aqui é laje. Vem pra cá.
Puta que pariu, a casa vai cair, mano.
Feio, a gente ficou... Vai ficar preso aqui um tempo, mano.
Later, they are simply standing in a room capturing video when a fire lights beneath one crew member's feet unbeknownst to him.
E agora, velho?
Tá pegando fogo aí, feio.
Another runs towards him and pulls him away, and the fire goes out on its own. For the grand finale, they enter the main room, and one of the crew appears to see something in a gap in the roof. A scary shadow leaves the gap as something breaks, causing the crew to vacate the premises ASAP.
Caraca, feio.
Mano, vamos conectar aqui agora, cara.
Aqui, ó. Puta que pariu.
Nossa, mano.
Nossa, velho. Vai, sai,
Corre.
vai, cara.
Sai.
What was in that diary? Something incriminating? We'll never know because the spirit doesn't want us to. This video, posted in November of 2013, purports to show found footage of a graveyard sighting. The clip opens on a headstone reading Maria Melgar. A cross made of punched out holes is centered in the stone, making one man wonder aloud what was supposed to be placed in the holes. The cameraman zooms out, capturing his friend pointing in the distance. He says that's where the grave is. They zoom in closer on the figure. It does appear to be tall and slender, and apparently is standing right in front of the cameraman's brother's grave. The figure is dressed in a suit, seems to be bald, and has an extremely pale face. Is this Slender Man? Or just some creep in a cemetery? I guess we'll never know for sure. A TikTok user named He Watches When I Sleep records a ghost wailing up and down his street in the middle of the night. He lives in the southwest and is sure it is the spirit of La Llorona, the vengeful spirit who hovers over water late at night. You can hear some other dogs in the background though, so I'm wondering if this was just a really old dog trying to howl. Just by looking at the exterior of this house, you can tell it's clearly haunted. Published by Uncontacted, these 3 paranormal investigators are doing a ritual just to make sure. Circling a small table with candles lit on top, the men are seen grasping the table and chanting a ritual, while noises are heard around them. Then outside they see this. A pale face in the window moves away. Back inside, the men are chanting around the table again, when a wheeled chair rolls into view. One of the men seems to be shocked by something unexplained and without a word walks away. The others follow him, uncertain of where he went. They find him outside standing at a distance in the darkness. He is suddenly snatched by someone and pulled from view. They find him in a strange stick hut and appear to talk him into normalcy. But what of the snatcher? Was this the work of the mad face in the window? I think so. A Dutch YouTuber named Govert Sweep and his friends go well past their limits while exploring an old place in the forest that's scary enough to have them jumping at every noise, of which I'll admit there's way too many.
Absurd dat daar nu iemand boven. Wat was dat, was jij dat?
I've heard of a house settling, but this sounds like the opposite. Like a spooky house is ramping up in a bad way. A haunted place where everything has gone wrong long ago.
Wat was dat dan? Dit was nou snoepst. Dit was nou snoepst. Juist, dit was nou snoepst.
I probably would have already been out of there, but they decide to keep seeing what there is to find, which is one of the shadiest entrances to any basement I've ever seen.
Oh, nee.
They go down there long enough to record only a few seconds of footage before getting out fast, and for good reason. Yes, something scary could be lurking among the rubble, but there are also structural concerns as well. The place looks ready to collapse on them, so they made the right decision because no scary ghost or creature video is worth taking that kind of risk. A street cam video from Papua New Guinea has caught something really bizarre on tape that I wanted to get your opinion on. A pale apparition appears to form under a street signal, and what it does next leaves government workers speechless. This ghost sighting could be a trick of the light. You can see the headlights of an approaching vehicle at 12 seconds right when the ghost supposedly flies up into the air. What they think is a ghost could be an optical illusion caused by rays of light bending towards the camera on a rainy day. Published in October of 2017, this scary CCTV footage was captured while the YouTuber was on night duty at a creepy nursing home. The footage timestamp puts this clip at around 11 p.m. It's at this moment that a mysterious, amoeba-like ball of light moves down the hallway. It appears to have appendages bouncing out of its sphere. A couple of minutes later, which is verified by the timestamp, the same ball of light returns down the hallway in the opposite direction. Do you think this light beam could be a paranormal entity haunting the halls of this nursing home? A spirit leaving its body and then returning? YouTuber Light writes, "If I saw that, I wouldn't go back to work. Neither would I." Published by Mindzoga in April of 2013, the uploader writes, "While riding in huge forest, accidentally found a secret base. It is completely deserted and one of the spookiest places I have ever been." The uploader was biking across a dirt road through Lithuania when he came across this base. The video shows derelict buildings on either side of the road, having long been abandoned. It's hard to tell who or what the buildings once housed, but there's plenty of them. Soon the bikers entered a more wooded area, where he decides to go off-road with his bike. He comes across a triangular building built into the ground. There's also a deep hole in the concrete, and a concrete slab set to the side with something, possibly a pipe entering the hole. The biker approaches the dark triangular building. Inside, there's only rubble and darkness. He strolls around the area and notes that one of the tree-like hidden underground ventilation chimneys lay on the ground. After driving a bit further, he comes across another of these triangular buildings. Upon closer inspection, the inside of the building is filled with small rooms. In the distance, he hears something that sounds like a bang, which adds to the creepy ambiance of these remains of a facility. He comes across yet another triangular building, where he notices a large ring on the ground, which he believes to be an underground silo cover. This place may have once been the headquarters of a Russian facility, but now it's nothing more than a ghost town of deserted buildings. Which do you think is more eerie? A YouTuber named Advil thinks he is alone until he hears voices off in the distance. He soon finds himself drawn to the stairs leading down into the basement for reasons he cannot explain. Something just feels out of place down there, but he isn't sure what. He calls out and gets an incredibly strange and eerie reply from the darkness below. Maybe if you are wearing headphones, you can tell me what is being said here. It almost sounds like they are whispering, "He's here."
Hello?
Moments later, Advil receives an undeniable confirmation that something is in the house with him. A dark figure somehow stands out against the pitch black background as it crosses the doorway. It makes no attempt to go up the steps and reveal its true form. If this is real, then whatever is down there apparently wants to stay down there, and possibly one day take Advil with him. This exploration of an abandoned mansion didn't go as planned. A French YouTuber shares this scary video of a very creepy place. As they light some candles, they appear to scare themselves.
Et sur son image, des cendres d'un hérétique. Vous.
Attends, mais y'a rien là.
Les gars, on a trouvé. Je suis en train de faire crever la page. On a trouvé des cendres.
In another room, something similar happens, but it's not clear if they're scaring each other or something external is scaring them.
Il y a un gars qui arrive.
Non, je déconne même pas.
As they enter one of the rooms, one of the team appears to be thrown back by an invisible force.
Tiens, un truc. Il fait trop mal.
What was down that hallway looks to me like only darkness.
Grave, monsieur, pas de soucis, bonjour.
While this place does give off the creepiest of vibes, this team isn't taking anything seriously. so it's hard to tell if the mansion is really haunted and the crew's fear manifests in jokes and laughter, or if it's not haunted at all. What do you think? I'd like to see this place for myself to decide. The YouTube team Rusty Nut Paranormal is investigating the Holy Cross Abbey in Colorado. As they're getting set up, they capture this creepy hum.
Do my, that ghost thing.
Upstairs, they hear this strange, disembodied voice. As they're looking at this device, an EVP is captured.
So it's feel like there's like phonic words and stuff, or like radio you said? That's awesome.
Does that say something?
It's difficult.
Is it difficult to pick up something? They get a few more EVPs that seem to fill in the blanks.
Alex. Is it Alex or Alice? Is that Alex? Or Alice? Alex, that's what I said. Oh! Dang!
But this is perhaps the creepiest sound mix captured well in the Abbey basement. It seems to complement this creepy mannequin.
Oh, yeah, just go off.
One of the crew thinks they were being clumsy.
Did I bump into something? Did I bump into something?
But when they do, they see he was actually marked by a demon.
Is it bad?
It's red, it's 3.
You can see it.
I mean,
I felt like something like right here.
Later, while in the monks' room, they're trying to communicate with the monks when they hear this.
Anybody here want to try to communicate with us? Anybody here want to try to communicate with us?
I don't know what that noise was, but I do know that this place, and all the others on this list, is scaring everyone in the world. You think winter roads are bad, and you've probably never ridden your bike here. This incident occurred in India in 2018. The uploader explains that it was his 3rd day of riding from Indore to Pangong Lake, and he had just partnered with another rider who joined him on his solo trip. He writes that the pass was slippery that day and was loaded with trucks. The result is a close call his friend met with, which he caught on camera. The footage shows the pair of bikers on a narrow mountain road with nothing but a cliff edge and a 100+ foot fall to their right. In front of them is a truck transporting heavy metal poles. As they follow quite closely behind this truck, it looks as though his friend is going to attempt to overtake the vehicle on the cliffside with little to no shoulder, but that attempt comes to a quick end when his heavy bike with all his belongings piled onto the back loses traction on the slushy ground. It falls onto its side dangerously near the cliff edge. If he'd been even a foot nearer the edge, he would have been a goner. As fate would have it, his life was spared that day, and as Banda writes, hopefully this teaches other riders to ride safe, live long. YouTubers Lainey and Ben regularly document the paranormal activity in their uber haunted home. As they're taking questions from their subscribers, some of the activity happens right behind them.
Says, does it feel like a good or a bad spirit, and what energy does it give off? I think there's no threat. So.
Nah, it's never touched us or hurt us, so I don't think there's anything bad about it. I think, if anything, it might be like a relative, because it's not harmful to us, so it's not like...
First, they notice the paper towel roll.
It's never touched us or hurt us, so I don't...
Lainey seems to hear a move. She looks over her shoulder but doesn't quite catch it in action.
So I don't think there's anything bad about it. I think, if anything, it might be like a relative.
Then the cupboard door pops open for a second.
So it's not bad in that.
Watching the camera, Lainey sees the activity behind her this time. I believe Lainey and Ben's home is haunted without question. They have a lot of evidence to back them. I just don't know how they can live with this. This may surprise you, but there are certain tribes around the Amazon rainforest that have never had contact with the modern outside world. These shots from above paint a picture of these uncontacted tribes being hostile towards seeing helicopters and drones in the air. So encounters with them are quite rare, since it's best not to interfere with these tribes. So this new drone footage was jaw-dropping when they actually managed to capture this uncontacted tribe on video. If you look closely, you can see there's 16 people quietly walking through the rainforest here. I think it's best if they don't try to get any closer. They certainly don't want a repeat of what happened before. It's creepy to think there's people on this earth who have never seen the modern world, but I agree these groups should remain uncontacted and self-sufficient. Have you ever heard something in nature that doesn't sound natural at all? This video was cross-posted by Cursed Curses to the Chills Narrator subreddit, who thought these sounds were weird enough to share. Originally posted to What Is This by Sir M Sport, the Redditor explains that the strange sound seems to be originating from the woods and the sky surrounding his house in rural Georgia. He said although his phone ran out of battery, he heard the sounds long after the recording ends. The user asks the Reddit community for help in identifying the source of these sounds, after asking a few of his neighbors, who said they hadn't heard such noises before. One of these neighbors, who lives on a hill, said the sounds definitely seem to be coming directly from the sky. Listen closely. The noises sound like irregular high-speed traffic for a moment. But then another tone enters in, like a spaceship door opening. The murmur continues, oscillating slightly. There are many theories in the comments, with Wolfish Fluff coming up with one of the most likely theories, suggesting that it sounds like a power plant or generator farm. He notes the revving up sound could be the activation. He writes, "My guess is that there's one of these facilities somewhere in your area, and the sound is coming from the sky because you're far enough away that basically the sound is bouncing off the atmosphere and then traveling to you. This would cause the muffling and the distortion." Other less likely theories include alligators, unknown flying objects, or a big tunnel. Any other suggestions? What do you think these sounds may be? Thank you so much for getting me to 50,000 subscribers here on my Clips channel. If you want to support, please press that subscribe button. Let's get to 60,000 subscribers next. Thank you.